So, James, did you get up to anything interesting over the weekend?
Not really. I had a pretty chill weekend. I did, unfortunately, have to sit through a doctor's appointment with two very nervous and very screaming children. They were getting their...
That sounds like fun.
getting their vaccinations. But other than that, not really.
Well, the thing is, I'd like to have children, but they're such a pain to raise that it's like, no, I don't want them at the exact same time.
It is definitely a challenge, and it's a good test of character, a good way to build your character as well.
Oh yeah, it's like I kind of at times have a hard time just looking after myself. So that's like, how can I raise children myself?
Yes, it's not a bad point for sure. What did you get up to over the weekend?
Well, even though it was a bit late, I finally got around to watching episode 10 of My Dress Up Darling. Normally I watch it, it's like not even like a minute after it comes available. It's like as soon as it comes available, it's like right on it.
Cool. How was that?
I would say compared to other episodes of the series, it doesn't do as well, but it's not as bad as some of the people make it out to be from some of the reviews I read. Although I can kind of see why they kind of was like, yeah, this is not as great as the other ones.
Right. So what was the general gist of all the reviews?
It was kind of more like, like the episode itself's average, and I guess to them it feels like now the show's kind of starting to take a bit of a turn because it's like you've had this high for like up until that point.
Right.
But the thing is, it's kind of, when you got a story in that, it's kind of hard to keep it high all the time in this. Sometimes you just got to bring it back down for a bit.
Yeah, you definitely need those ebbs and flows for sure. To keep it interesting, build it up to a crescendo and then, have it drop down for a little bit, and so you can build it back up and try to meet or beat those expectations.
I would say, though, it does have a similar tone to it, like one of my personal favourite episodes, episode 7, which I absolutely love.
Right.
It's kind of sort of like that, but it's a bit miss on some of the jokes it does and some of the scenes.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I do recommend you get around to watching My Dress Up Darling, even if it's only just for episode 1 to 4.
Right.
Because really those, it's that and episode 7, I'd say are the best episodes of the series so far.
Interesting. Cool. What makes it stand out for you, or those episodes in particular? It's
kind of hard to describe, and I'm kind of sort of still deciphering it myself, but I can kind of see why, because not only does it kind of do it's kind of really hard to describe because it's like trying to be, I don't think it's an ecchi anime, but it kind of tries to be.
Right.
And it does it in a way which I find kind of interesting in that.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's not like Strike Witches, which I enjoy, but also don't really enjoy at the exact same time.
Right. So what's I guess the definitive factor between Strike Witches and My Dress Up Darling?
I think I definitely know Strike Witches is definitely an ecchi anime, and I think it plays that a little too hard in my opinion.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure My Dress Up Darling is not an ecchi, but it does have kind of ecchi elements. It's more like kind of, definitely slice of life, and I think something else.
Yeah, okay.
Although I do like a good slice of life anime, and that's the biggest reason probably why I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
Oh, there was something else. Oh, yeah. I kind of, had to suffer through the English dub of D4DJ first mix. So may the Lord have mercy on my soul. Literally, the first thing I kind of almost did as soon as I started thinking about watching the English dub for D4DJ first mix was go to my cupboard and pull out some booze.
Right.
Literally, the thought of watching it was driving me to drink.
Yeah. So How far did you get? Did you get through the whole series? Or?
No, but surprisingly, I somehow made it to episode 3.
Okay.
And like about halfway through it.
Yeah.
I was going to just, binge watch it throughout the night, but I just kind of fuck it. Not only am I going to feel like shit in the morning, but I'm going to be literally going through torture for those hours where I could be getting some precious sleep.
Right. So what put you in that situation to watch the English dub?
I would say it would be honest, I think I could probably go through torture and handle it better than the English dub.
Right.
Like, I think my experience with it, like, I think the first time trying to watch the English dub, I think I made it either halfway through the first episode, or I think I kind of gave up before like the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, okay.
It was just like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I here?
Right. Interesting.
And then I think it was it yesterday? I don't know, I think it was the last session in that. That I decided, I'm going to go and watch the first episode again of the English dub and see if I can get through it. Right. And again, it's before the 5-minute mark, I was like, why? Why am I making myself suffer?
Right. So it was, you set yourself a bit of a challenge to see how far you could get.
Yeah, I guess at this point, I'm developing a tolerance to it.
Right.
But I think I could still see me suffering all the way to the very end, though.
So for context, how many times have you watched the Japanese version?
Oh, so the subbed?
Yes.
It'd be like, I wouldn't say a dozen, but I'd say close to a half dozen times.
Okay. And then, so you've tried once before for the English dub, and this is your second attempt.
Well, kind of like 2.5.
Okay. So what's the main differences that you can pick up on?
Well, I can tell you that the animation's the same. It's just the voice acting. It's just, that's what does it for me, I guess.
Yeah.
And does in the English dub.
So is there a particular character or a couple of them which just don't really hit the mark?
Yeah, it's just like, in terms of their kind of the English voice actor, especially for Rinku, kind of does fit Rinku, but at the same time, I find it just the voice a little too obnoxious at times. If they were to dial it down a little bit, I think it would work really well. But I found Rinku's voice actor for the English dub a little too obnoxious for my liking. Well, I don't think obnoxious is the right word. It's like kind of obnoxious, annoying. Yeah.
Okay. So Rinku's the big factor. Are there any of the other?
Oh yeah, even though I don't get to see much Shinobi though, I only get you only get a brief scene with her in the first episode.
Yep.
Besides the performance that Mahou shows Rinku. Wait, no, I'm trying to think. Does Shinobi shows up. Well, you actually get some dialogue with Shinobi, I think, episode 2, so I'm just getting my timeline mixed up a little bit there, but oh my god. As soon as I heard her voice, I was like, please just kill me.
Right.
But again, that's probably more because I'm a really big fan of Shinobi.
Sure. So
I guess I would have been the most critical.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to Rinku's English voice actor, what would be your advice to try and make it more authentic to the original Japanese voice actors?
I'm not sure. It's kind of hard because it's sort of where it needs to be to kind of fit Rinku as a character, but then I feel like it's a bit over at the top, but then Rinku's kind of a bit over the top, so it's kind of a bit of a catch-22.
Is it maybe there needs to be a bit more of a clear balance between the over-the-top, classic Rinku moments and then some more sort of chill?
Yeah.
Right.
Not only that, but I think it's just the way she kind of speaks too doesn't help.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's like very similar to the Bee Gees, but it's kind of like really kind of there. Just the way she ends sentences that with kind of this weird, high pitch. I just find it obnoxious and annoying.
Sure. Okay. Interesting. And what about, is there dialogue differences that that you've picked up on that are sort of don't really fit the narrative or the storytelling?
Not really, not from what I've noticed.
Right.
But I guess I'm suffering too much to really be able to kind of get my notebook and be like, okay, this is different and this is different.
Yeah.
It's mostly kind of, either just translation, kind of just just being translated into something different than that, but not really much difference, nothing that would really kind of hurt the show.
For sure. Okay.
Although I'd say the best thing about the English dub, and that's not saying much, is the voice actor from Mahou, which is the same for the Japanese and English, so she does both.
Yeah, that's cool.
Although I think, her Japanese performances, or when she did the did the subbed and that, she did a much better job in my opinion.
Right. Interesting.
It's just the delivery for some of her dialogue in the dub just doesn't quite hit the mark in my opinion.
Right.
Which it kind of pains me to say because I am actually she's probably my favourite voice actress from like anime in general.
Yeah, okay.
And actually doing a bit of research, I found that she's not actually much older than I am.
Right.
She's like, 22, probably turning 23 this year.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'm like, turning 21 this year?
Yeah.
And I just found that insane and it makes me feel really old for some reason.
Well, I'll be turning 27 on Wednesday, so...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't peg you for being in your 20s.
Yeah, so 27 on Wednesday. I don't really have that same emotional thing when it comes to, birthdays or getting older. It's just...
it just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah, it's like, that's the way I kind of treat it, but at times just seeing it, it's like, I kind of feel old a bit.
Yeah. Every now
It's
and
only
then.
going to get worse too.
Yes. Yeah. It's not fun, backaches
Yeah,
and all that
definitely.
other getting old stuff.
Not only that, but actually speaking of dialogue differences, I might as well go back to my Dress Up Darling, because what I do is, since they kind of bring out both the dubbed and sub at the exact same time, although the dub's a few episodes behind the subbed,
Right.
is, as soon as they bring out the new subbed, after finish watching that, I'll go and actually watch the dub.
Yeah, okay.
And guess what? They actually just brought out the dub for episode 7 and it's really good.
Interesting. Is it
Especially with this dialogue change to the dialogue and that for this one very minor scene, but it just makes the scene so much more hilarious.
Interesting.
Yeah, it had a bit of funniness to it in the sub, but just the dialogue differences in the dub just made that scene so much more funny. It's like, I don't know if I could show it to you, but I'll probably show you after this.
Sure. Interesting. So you found that that the dubbed version was slightly better in this case.
Yeah, I think for my Dress Up Darling, it's kind of, you can almost switch between the two.
Right.
So some episodes are going to be better subbed and some are going to be better dubbed.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it'd be interesting to kind of be like my way of watching my Dress Up Darling. It'd be like, this episode's dubbed, this episode's subbed.
That's interesting.
To be for the most optimum experience, but then it wouldn't be because it'd only be the most optimum experience for me.
Yes. Yeah, that's your personal preference for those specific episodes.
Well, actually, speaking of anime being really good dubbed, The Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited.
Okay.
I just really love the voice actors for the dub.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I can't remember. It was Adam something voiced Daisuke, and it's just, his performance is just amazing.
Interesting.
The person that voices Daisuke, I think, could actually probably do a good job being the voice of Batman. That's how good he is.
Right.
And kind of similar.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Daisuke's voice actor wouldn't feel out of place if he was to voice Batman.
Right. That's cool.
Because he's, well, I say that, but kind of more like the Arkham game Batman voice, kind of similar to that.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? I used to know the voice actor's name.
Well, actually, speaking of the Arkham games, Arkham City's the best.
Yeah, it is. I've
Origins is good, but again, doesn't stack up to City.
Yeah.
Asylum's good, but I just think that with the improvements made to City, it's just nowhere near as good.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've only played Arkham Asylum and City. And
I played a bit of Origins and I played a little bit of Night.
right.
I've completed both Asylum and City, and I think
Yep.
I got close to 100%ing City.
Yeah, nice.
I think I was like, 80, 90%?
Right.
Something like really high up there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there was just having that sort of more open feel to Arkham City was so much better.
Oh, yeah, but also the combat is so
Yes.
much more polished in City.
For sure. Definitely is, yeah.
It's definitely, although I guess I kind of do like the more unforgiving nature of Asylum's combat, where
Right.
you can kind of fudge up a little in City
Yeah, okay.
and kind of still come out all right, but in Asylum, it's just like, you got to really kind of pay attention to what's going on, and
yeah.
timing's really critical.
You can sort of get away with a bit more button mashing in City, whereas I think, Asylum, you had to be sort of a little bit more precise with your moves.
Yeah,
and,
timing was a lot more crucial in Asylum than City.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And funny you mentioned that. I rewatched Batman Forever on the weekend, and I forgot how bad it was.
Yeah, isn't that like Tim Burton?
No. So this is...
I'm trying to think, which one was Tim Burton?
So Tim Burton was there was Batman, and then there was the one after that, which was Tim Burton as well, and then there's Batman and Robin, which is also not very good, and then there's Batman Forever.
Oh wait, no, I was thinking, didn't Clooney play Batman at one point?
Yes, so that's
the one I'm thinking of. I was like, no, it's Tim Burton. No, it's Clooney. I just couldn't make up my mind. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just go with Burton. But yeah, I was a bit off there.
So yeah, the first two Batman movies is the Michael Keating plays Batman in the first two, and then in number 3 it's Val Kilmer, which wasn't very good, and then George Clooney in Batman Forever, which was pretty terrible. So, your thoughts on on George Clooney?
I'm trying to remember if I've seen it. It's probably been a long while, so I'm not 100% sure, but I can remember. Yeah, it was a bit too comedic, but that could be my memory playing up on me.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think, which one was it that had Arnie play Mr. Freeze? It wasn't that one.
It's that one. So yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you've got Arnie playing Mr. Freeze, and
that one scene where it's like, there was some kind of ice pun or something like that. And
There
it's
is.
like, just kill me.
there's basically an ice pun like every 3 minutes in that movie.
You serious?
Yeah.
Wow, my memory must be really playing up.
But yeah, it's definitely much more of a goofy comedy than an actual good movie.
Well, actually, to kind of, I guess, wrap this, little off tangent up.
Yeah.
Best Batman.
Having not seen the new one with Robert Pattinson, this has always been hard because I always really liked Michael Keating, just because that was sort of my introduction to Batman on screen. But it's also pretty hard to get past. What's his name? I've lost it. Damn. What's his name?
Well, I guess I might as well jump in
Yes.
here with mine, because
Sure.
to give you, I guess, time to think.
Yeah.
For me, it'd have to be a tie between if I can pronounce his name right, Christian Bale and
Yes.
Adam West.
Yes. So yeah, I was going to mention Christian Bale as well. For me, it's sort of
Was that the name you were trying to think
yes.
of?
Yeah. So yeah, there's sort
I
of
called it.
a tie between Christian Bale and Michael Keating for me. Although I know he got a lot of hate, but I didn't mind. What's his name? Blanking again. The guy who played Batman in Justice League. And
Isn't it Ben Affleck?
that's him. Yeah, Ben Affleck. I didn't mind him. I know he got a lot of flack. And
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, I'd have to watch the thing for myself to come to a conclusion. I kind of just stopped watching after the The Dark Knight Rises?
yeah, that was the last
Oh yeah, the Christian Bale ones, right?
of the Christian Bale ones. Yeah, from Christopher Nolan as well. Great director.
Oh yeah.
Writer. Yeah. You know, the Batman vs Superman movie, which had Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck as Batman. That was a bit off. But I didn't mind the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Oh yeah, wasn't there like a massive campaign to get it released and that?
Yes, it took a very long time, and it got released in its original IMAX format, which is pretty funny watching a 4:3 on a widescreen.
Yeah, I was saying, from what I've heard, this reception was actually a bit mixed.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think the biggest thing is that, you know,
I guess it got really hyped up, and I guess it didn't quite deliver.
It got hyped up for sure, and then, you know, it ends on a pretty big cliffhanger because there was meant to be, you know, multiple movies spawning from that.
I guess that never happened.
And yeah, that's never happened, and probably most likely never going to happen. So that you'll never get the conclusion to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And I guess I might as well get to the main thing about this podcast, and the reason why I decided to kind of go with this format is just because I do have some interesting news, and that is, I guess as I saw this is like, yes, this is what I'm going to do for an emergency, quote unquote emergency podcast, and that is that well, speaking of D4DJ, they have announced D4DJ, I think it was Double Mix or something like that.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Which I guess is what was the rumors I was kind of hearing a while ago was probably about.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of a bit of a mixed emotions for me because, it's more anime from the D4DJ franchise, but it's not a second season. It's kind of like a special.
Right.
So, well, I guess special OVA.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, as soon as I saw that, it's like, yes, I want to kind of do this emergency podcast to kind of bring it out there.
For sure. So has there been any other details revealed? Or?
Oh, yeah. So I should have showed you the video before, but I want to kind of keep this a bit of a secret. So. Sure.
Yeah.
But from the gist of it, it's going to be focusing, it's in the name Double Mix, it's going to be focusing on, 2 units, and the 2 units are Rondo and Merm for ID. Interesting. And not only that, but another interesting thing is that they're going to make a collab song between the 2 units, which,
cool, with
their 2 distinctive styles, would be, in my opinion, would be very interesting to see what they do.
For sure. There's
because you kind of got that kind of nightclub stuff from like Merm for ID, and then we've got that kind of, it's hard to describe Rondo, but it's kind of like, I won't call it alternative metal, but it's kind of similar.
It's sort of got that alternative prog metal vibe, but then there's a lot of electronic elements thrown in.
It's like, I think it was like described as like alternate metal and electronic.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Cool.
But I guess I might as well get your thoughts on it though.
Is there a release date yet?
I'm not sure. We'll probably have to look into it, but we definitely now know it's been announced, so at least I can stop speculating about stuff.
For sure.
But I still believe that there's going to be a second season though.
Yeah. And I guess it would definitely be a missed opportunity to not include, any of the other units, like Happy Around and Peaky Peaky. Obviously sort of it leaves you on a little bit of a cliffhanger to what they're up to, and you get a little bit of what they've been up to in what you've shown me in the game, in those little scenes. But yeah, I think if they don't touch on all the other units specifically, Happy Around, what they're up to,
I'm not sure how they'd be able to do it considering just kind of how the world is set up, but I think they would probably try to make brief mentions or have like brief cameos of the units, but I don't think they're going to really play that much of a role in it considering the focus is on those 2 units, and more specifically I think that the relationship between Rika and oh god, I'm trying to think how to pronounce her name so I don't butcher it. God damn it. I'm going to say Tisbrook or something like that, but I don't think that's correct. I might have to pull out the translator.
Sure.
and just punch your name into the translator and just see how it comes out.
Yeah. So what's your initial thoughts of...
I should probably... Yeah. Well, I'm just excited that I'm finally getting some more animation from that franchise.
Yeah.
Considering that, well, I guess the viewers wouldn't be familiar, but you can definitely tell how desperate I've been for another season of D4 DJ.
Yes, it's definitely come up in our conversations, at least once every 2 to 3 months, I think.
Yeah, it's like, as I think described last session, it's like kind of almost like an addict, kind of just waiting for the next fix.
For sure. And
and it can feel like that at times too. It's like I'm just like itching myself. It's like I need another season of D4 DJ.
Yeah. Yeah, and the game's sort of been stringing you along a little bit.
It's like, I'm not sure if it actually even really helped kind of curb it a bit or not. Probably kind of, it's a bit of both.
Maybe, yeah. Cool. So yeah, what's your thoughts on, it taking that specific route of going, we're not going to focus on sort of these 2 units, Happy Around and Peaky Peaky, which, the whole idea of First Mix was.
Well, I think First Mix was kind of a focus on, Happy Around, Peaky Peaky and Photomaiden.
Yeah, they sort of threw Photomaiden in the second half.
Well, they do kind of show up in the beginning, early on though.
Yeah, a little bit. So,
and I think it was a smart choice that they did.
Yeah, for
kind of
sure.
did add them earlier on.
Yeah.
To kind of, do a bit of foreshadowing, but also actually because I just see it being a bad idea to kind of mention them early on, but not bring them into the anime.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it was actually kind of, I guess, I wonder if they realised, we kind of mentioned them, now we kind of got to make it so they actually play a role.
Maybe. It'd be interesting to know, what their sort of thoughts were, whether it was, sort of...
well, they go to the same schools, so...
Yeah, whether it was, specific foreshadowing of we're going to be coming up soon, so, it's important for the viewers to know our name and our connection to sort of a little bit of, what the school's about.
Photomaiden is definitely an interesting unit just because they're not their formation wasn't as organic let's say Happy Around or Peaky Peaky.
Yeah.
It's kind of a unit that was made by a corporation.
Yes. It was very much formulated and as you see in the scenes of the show, how, everything's very controlled.
Yeah.
For sure.
Even though it's all very controlled in that, it's surprising how well the girls from Photomaiden work together though.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the thing I kind of think of when companies try and do stuff like that is I don't kind of see them kind of gelling, the members of the group gelling well together.
Yeah.
Although I guess in this case, this is an example of where they gelled together really well together.
For sure. Yeah. There's definitely examples throughout, sort of modern music history of groups who, there might be too many cooks in the kitchen sort of thing. And
too many Indians and not enough chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not allowed to say that anymore.
Maybe. But yeah, and, they might get an album or 2 in and then, things really start falling apart where, every now and then you get those sort of 4 people together that just work really well and, they're able to stay on track and produce some pretty good music. So
especially once a member leaves the group and then they kind of bring in, I'm going to say, an outsider, and that does also help to kind of destabilize the group in that.
For sure. Yeah. Obviously, the classic one with that would be John Lennon bringing Yoko Ono in to the Beatles rehearsals and things like that. I think there is definitely some misconceptions when things come to that whole idea, but it's interesting how the dynamic of those sorts of groups can change.
That's probably the most interesting thing about groups is to see how they kind of interact with one another.
For sure, and how success
can change things.
Can change things, can change their outlooks on art and life and everything else. Yeah.
One of the more interesting things I find about those kind of groups is that, generally, people that are, like, been close mates for a long time generally kind of tend to work well together anyway. And it's those kind of units that form organically like that I enjoy a lot.
For sure.
That's probably also why I like First Mix so much, is seeing that kind of story play out with, Happy Arando.
Definitely. So do you think...
Although I guess, using that as an example, you can kind of see, oh God, another name that I'm probably going to butcher. Because I keep thinking it's pronounced Ray, but it's like Laraya, something like that.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Because she doesn't really have that strong of a connection to the other members of Happy Arando.
Right.
Where, like, well, I guess she is friends, but I guess on that same note, Mahou is also kind of, sort of also an outsider too. Really, the members that had really close relations to each other would be Rinku and Mooney.
For sure.
Being childhood friends.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's interesting. So, coming back to, was it Double Mix it's called? Yeah. Do you think the choices of Merm for ID and Rondo were the right pick to focus on?
It's going to depend on how it plays out, personally.
Yeah. Right.
But it's definitely going to be interesting, considering that, if I remember correctly, in terms of age, the members of both Merm 4ID and Rondo are like kind of like sophomore kind of college.
Right.
But all the others are kind of like, in like, I guess, high school.
Yeah, okay. Right. I guess that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Which, considering that little factoid, I wanted to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're going to go where I think they're going to go with it, or where I'd like them to go with it, but them at the same time, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, I'd like them to go the way I think they're going to go, but at the same time, I don't want them to.
Sure.
But then it's kind of the opposite's also true.
Yeah, I guess, as well, thinking about, just the general story, because that's one of the really good things about First Mix, was just like, in between them making music and whatnot, that, the general story was quite authentic in a way.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously now they'd be dealing with characters which are, slightly older, going through different parts of their lives, and different parts of schooling. So, whether the that just
plays
general storytelling, will play a factor in the overall sort of vibe of how the show runs. Will be interesting. Although
one thing I will definitely be disappointed in if they don't do is if Shinobi doesn't make a cameo, just because Nagisa is actually Shinobi's cousin. So it'd be like interesting to see Shinobi make even if it's only a brief appearance in that.
For sure.
Just kind of fill that role of just cousins hanging out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where those little cameos will pop in.
That's the only real cameo that I could see feasibly happening.
Yeah, I guess if there is that small connection of one of the units has that cousin connection. There could be some sort of way of then that going into getting peaky onto a show or something, just because there is that classic saying, it's not what you know but it's about who you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see if anything like that happens.
Actually, I want to see if, it's kind of testing knowledge a bit, but did you know that Rinku has a pet I think chameleon?
No. Cool.
So that's like, it's kind of neat. Just little details like that.
And that sort of makes sense for Rinku, I think.
Especially considering that she did spend a good portion of her life in Africa.
Yes, for sure.
Although the place she said she spent in Africa kind of doesn't exist, but if I was to guess, it'd probably be one of the small islands off the coast of Madagascar, because there's small islands near Madagascar.
Right. Interesting. Cool.
Although I don't imagine it being pleasant to live there, because if these are these small islands off the coast of Madagascar that I don't even know their names, shows just how kind of insignificant they are.
And Madagascar is a pretty small island itself, so...
Yeah, not only that, but from what I've heard, it's probably not the nicest of living conditions.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I find that in my opinion, I find Africa kind of just a bit of a kind of almost similar to the outback in terms of just how rough it can be to live.
Yeah, there's some interesting things when you look into fauna and flora, and along the western coast of Australia, there's a lot of similarities compared to the eastern coast of Africa, because obviously looking back, what a lot of scientists say, with Pangea, when it started breaking apart, we would have been connected, those two sides. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities. So definitely, yeah.
I gotta say though, but on that note of like characters having pets and that, Kayako's dog, which is a German Shepherd named Vevo.
Okay.
I wonder if that's a reference to what I think it is.
Right. I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Because I remember I'm not sure if they're still around, but there was like these like Vevo YouTube channels, which would just be like a place where you could go to listen to music from like bands and stuff.
Okay, yes.
So I wonder if that name was a reference to that, because it's spelled very similar, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But
interesting.
Again, it's just interesting. A German Shepherd in Japan, I just find that interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
It'd be like it'd be even more interesting if there's like an Australian cattle dog.
That would be very out there for sure. Cool. So any last thoughts on
Double Mix, I guess.
Double Mix? Yeah.
I just need to really kind of wait for it to come out so I can actually get my final thoughts on it, because it's like interesting in that, but I just, with the amount of information that's available about it, I can't really kind of decide if it's going to be good or not. I'm just glad that they're actually bringing out some more anime.
For sure.
And it may actually hold me over until second season, hopefully.
Cool.
Because I really need my next fix.
Awesome. All right.
Well, I guess before we wrap it up, there is definitely one more thing in that.
Yep.
And the reason why, well, I guess before we started this, I explained that I didn't get a lot of sleep, is that I spent 12 hours, probably a bit more, working on a car.
Cool.
And I might as well show you what I spent most of that time doing. I'll just pull up a thing on thingy-me-jig. Yes, I'm using the correct term. It's my thingy-me-jig, and I'm opening up thingy-me-jig on my thingy-me-jig.
Yes.
Because, I can't remember at one point, I think this was the next day, because it was 5 in the morning. I was like, I'm going to go sleep. Somehow didn't go to sleep for an hour, and then woke up feeling like shit. I slept into 10, and then as soon as I got up, it's did the things I normally do when I get up.
Right.
And then immediately went back straight to working on the vehicle.
Yeah, okay.
I'll show you its most recent incarnation.
Yeah.
Is it going to pop in? Oh yeah, it is the most recent, because I couldn't remember if I took the image before I made changes to it.
Yeah.
So that's the final product. So
Cool.
I guess your thoughts on it.
It's pretty cool. It's
it's back.
It's sort of got that classic. I don't know if this is the right term, but sort of hillbilly, sort of drag race, sort of thing about it. It's definitely got a lot going on with all the sponsor stickers.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's where I spent most of my time.
Yeah.
Hell, if you look at the top, just on the roof there, the Shannon's banner.
Oh, okay.
That took, I think most of the hours I spent working on the car was just to find that.
Sure. Yeah.
Actually looking at it, I could have probably done that by myself and saved all that trouble and hassle, but
Yeah.
I was trying to find one where it actually had the logos, and in the end I just saw that, I was like, okay, I don't want to make, it's already done, so I'm just going to slap it on.
Sure.
I don't want to make it myself, because I've already spent so much time trying to look for this.
Yeah. So what was the goal behind making this?
I got to say, it's kind of, I guess as I got more tired, I guess the goalpost kind of shifted a bit,
Sure.
and then shifted a bit more, and that's probably also explains why it's a bit kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Although I guess with this one, even though it's later on, it's probably a bit more reined in, but I think it's still got a bit of that chaotic mess, especially towards the back end. Because the front end, I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to make this look like a race car, and I kind of started working on the front end and then worked my way towards the back, but then as I got towards the back, I got more tired, and it's like,
Yeah.
And then I saw this nice stuff. It's like, oh, this stuff's funny. I want to put it on this car. And you can kind of see, it's kind of a bit of a blend of humour and,
Yeah.
race car. Not only that, but also, I slap wifeys all over it too.
Cool.
Which makes it so sad, because actually most of them, I didn't just slap anime girls on, because anime girls, I actually know most of the characters that I slapped on it.
Right.
Because if you look on the hood there, you can actually see like a chibi Ayanami, I think. Although it'd be very hard to see. It's a shame you can't really zoom in on it. I think if you tap on the image, it does enlarge it a bit.
A little bit.
It's like the should be looking on the right-hand side, which would be on the left.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see.
Not only that, but I'm not sure with the angle I take it, you can actually see the effect, but it looks like the Twitch logo is actually kind of crossing over the line, but it's actually not.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
But that's just because of the dip in the hood. It makes it look like it's overlapping the line.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, a nice little optical illusion.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a shame I didn't get a full sight on.
Yes. All right.
It was interesting what I did with the rest of it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can actually... God damn it. I just realised how kind of over the top I went with it, because not only did I have added anime girls onto it, I also added warships.
Right.
Well, not really the actual warships, but an anime girl that is based off a warship.
Right.
Because if you...
Okay.
Although you can't really see, if you look... Oh, I gotta pull it up again. If you look on the wing on the rear, and you can't really see it well, but you can actually see HMS Javelin.
Yeah.
It's a spot of purple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard to see, but cool.
Also, the Ayanami is the Ayanami is an anime girl based off a Japanese warship.
Right.
Which would mean that, I think it's the warship's name is the Ayanami, so it should be the IJN Ayanami.
Yeah.
With IJN standing for, Imperial Japanese Navy.
Right.
I'm just trying to think, HMS Javelin, it wouldn't be Her Majesty's Service, it would actually be His Majesty's Service Javelin.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that's kind of hard when doing British warships, is that you got to try and remember, when this was in service, was the monarch a king or a queen? Because then, because you could say Her Majesty's Service, but there was no queen in the charge at the time the Javelin was in service. I don't think it was the 5th. No, I think it was Edward VIII before he abdicated. Then whoever came in after him, wasn't that George VI? I'm a bit rusty with with the English crown.
Cool.
Not only that, but also I have Domo on the wing too, which it feels a bit out of place.
That's taking it back.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like I saw that and I was like, damn, I feel old.
Cool.
Not only that, but also I got an interesting story about the stripe that runs along the car. Because I was like, should I do a black or white stripe? Couldn't decide. I was like, okay, I'm going to do the one thing Americans used to do but can't do now and compromise. And so I did both.
Yes.
And I was saying, I want to catch your thoughts on that though.
The stripes?
Yeah.
It looked good. It's, did you start off with the stripes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, actually, I did start off with stripe, but it was a completely different setup to the one I had now.
Right. Interesting. So what was the original?
It was like a mix of like blue and red, and it was like, okay, yeah, this looks cool and this looks cool, but it doesn't scale well in them.
Right.
I didn't want to kind of... Actually, I'm trying to think why I changed it. I can't remember why I changed it, but in the end I was like, okay, I don't think this works as well as I've thought it would have, and then changed it up.
Yeah.
And I went with my more old school approach and doing the old school, stripes.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely think when it comes to, the base color of the car, if it is, sort of a bright sort of red, orangey like that one is, definitely going, the classic just black or white, or like black, like how you had black with then the white on the...
Yeah, kind of like, using the white to outline the black.
Yeah, sort of accent it. That always looks
Yeah,
really
I
good.
do love doing a bit of accenting just because I just like the idea of just trying to make things pop out a bit more and stand out.
For sure.
Especially when there's like a sea of whole heap of other stuff. Although
Yeah, definitely.
my kind of design style is kind of more like being a bit more conservative and just using as few colours as possible.
Yeah.
But that's kind of hard to do with sponsors though.
Yes, definitely.
But you can see actually the stuff that I do add on to my cars that I designed that isn't sponsors and that are all very similar in colour.
Yes. Yep, for
I wonder
sure.
if I could pull up like the Boss Frio 2 that I did like ages ago.
Right. Yep. And I think, if the base color of your car is black or white, then you can sort of, I think it's a lot
Still
easier.
got the Boss photos.
Right. It's a lot easier to get away with like a colored stripe, a bright blue on a white. Looks pretty cool.
I don't think I've got an image of the Boss, but I've got a clip that I'll show you. I'm just probably going to have to mute my phone. Yeah, I'm going to have to show you the clip, which will give you a rough look of its paint job. But it's more of a simple, I guess, my more traditional style, and I think that's also the one thing I also find interesting about that paint scheme that I did is it's kind of a blend of both my old and new style.
Right.
Actually, if you want to go ahead, you can go ahead and play the clip.
Yeah.
And just observe the car, because I think I do use some different angles in that.
Yeah. Cool.
You can see how it's very more simplistic in that.
For sure. And everything's it lines up really well.
That's another thing, lining stuff up. That's probably what took so long. Was I probably spent like a good half hour now just getting the lines to line up properly.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's cool. The combination of like the shark teeth sort of thing.
Yeah, and the flames.
And the flames.
That's like, I think that's kind of a bit of a trademark because I kind of sort of done that for the Mahou.
Right. It definitely works a lot better than, if you tried to describe that to me, I probably would have said, nah, that's not going to work. But it looks a lot cooler than yeah, I think it probably would have.
Actually, to show you even more that more traditional, kind of more simplistic, not too over the top, is actually this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Although this is probably a bit more of just being like really simple on that.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Not only that, but I can help myself and make a reference to the art generally with its design too.
Right.
Although there's a few changes made for certain reasons.
For sure.
There's the same kind of reasons I disregarded for the Daytona, but that's just because it's a charge, so I have to be a bit more faithful to this kind of the reference material.
Right.
Even though that's probably going to get me in a lot of trouble. I want to see if I can more examples of even more recent stuff, but I don't think I do have more recent. Well, I do.
Right.
Have probably something that's a bit more of my newer, I guess, more over the top style.
Sure.
Oh, that's earlier on. Do I have one that's like late? And another good. Where's my good side? Because the one I definitely learned work on is like, it's definitely true that of the take a photo of my good side, because there's going to be one side that looks nicer than the other.
Yeah. Okay. The one side you've spent more time on placement.
I'll say probably go from looking through from this photo to like the photo up here.
Right.
Actually, we could use this one because I like the back, just kind of how I did a good job using the environment to get a really nice photo.
Sure.
You can see, it's a lot more similar to what I did with the Daytona, but a bit more overboard.
Yep. Yeah. I think this particular car, sort of that more over the board, over the top, overboard sort of style, I think works a little bit better.
Actually, if you want, you can actually look at earlier photos of it, which shows that it kind of a bit more in its earlier stages of development.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took several days, but that's just because I made adjustments, tuned it, and then made adjustments.
Right.
That's the thing, I just don't paint the cards, I also modify them.
Yep. Cool. There's definitely quite a mixed bag when it comes to all the different all the different stickers. Like you've got Heineken and then the Australian flag.
Well, I think the Australian flag was kind of just, I feel like, showing the nationality of the driver and them having the driver's name like next to it.
Yeah.
Which I think I also did on the Daytona.
Yep.
I think sometimes I do use my own name or I make one up.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if I use my own name on the on the BMW though. I definitely know I did it for the Daytona.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
And I think I did kind of rein it back in with the Daytona though, to achieve, I guess, I wouldn't say an optimum balance, but a balance between the two.
Right.
Kind of between that simplistic style as well as that. I haven't shown you any good examples of that more racer-focused style because that was like really old school.
Right, for sure.
I did, those kind of race builds where it's just looks like a race car with just a few things to kind of make them look a bit more cool.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of get the shark mouth with flames originated from was on a 2015 Mustang GT that I souped up to be like a hyper like insane race car, even putting like a proper race engine and ripping the restrictor plates right off it.
Cool.
In which I put up against a Lamborghini Aventador, which I did the exact same thing to, and it just lost to the Lamborghini by like 0.006 milliseconds.
Right. Interesting.
And it shows you how fast it is that against a fully on, like, ridiculous extent modified to racing in a Lamborghini Aventador, and it was able to lose to that just barely.
Yep.
It just shows you how over the top I went with the Mustang.
For sure. All right. Do we want to wrap this up here?
I guess I can. I also say use that as an example, but then I didn't do it, so it actually wouldn't be a good example. But I think there's a couple other things.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there is a bit of resurgence of the more simple style though, with the RX3.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Which I'm surprised because that is actually also probably the first vehicle where all the work was done by me on it.
Right.
Well, I
nice.
was borrowing the work from others on the others.
Yep.
Another one which I guess was also kind of that, but I kind of didn't really finish off. So it's not that really good, so I won't show you.
Sure.
I know there's something here. Oh yeah, the Fiat that I was working on a while ago. We're going to try and figure out which image is actually the one that I was working on, the one that I was using as a reference.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the latest? I guess so. Yeah. And that's probably more of that racer style.
Yeah. It's a little bit more refined, but it definitely still has sort of the racer style in it. That's pretty cool. The what you've got going on the hood there.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I ended up getting rid of it or just kind of toning it down a bit, but it's been a while, and I definitely knew that it's like when I need to come back around to finishing off.
Yep. Nice.
You can even see I was going to actually kind of come in and ask you which one should I do, the black or white stripes. I actually do have images of it with the black or white stripe. So you can see here's the solid black.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
And then I'll just go over to the white.
Ooh.
So if you had a choice between the black or white stripes, which one would you choose?
That's tough. I think that maybe the white works better with all the other graphics on there. But I feel if you took away all the other graphics, maybe the black just by itself would be better. So yeah, it's
for me with the color it is. I could kind of like, it's kind of like a pendulum. I could swing either way.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. They definitely both work for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Like I think I have a I definitely was a 67. I can't remember what year it was, but it was an SS Camaro from the late 60s.
yeah, okay.
And an orange. I think the decal came in black, and that looked really nice.
Cool.
Although I think, normally I do the white decal for the charger though.
Yeah, okay.
Although most of the time when I actually do that, I just paint it. Well, I painted that color and then just add like a square that's the same color as the rest of the charger, just to get rid of the decal, because I didn't like the decal on the charger
Right.
that comes with from the factory.
Yep.
Like, because I just don't like having kind of on the rear quarter a stripe that runs across the side.
Right. Interesting.
I've seen examples where it's done nicely, but
Uh-huh.
it doesn't look nice on the charger.
Sure. Cool. All right.
I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Wrap it up. Cool.
So, hey guys, this is the end of episode 1 of the Some People podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully catch you next time, where I'm probably not going to be talking about that much D4DJ. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably going to talk a lot more D4DJ.